ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to GAW Academy Stormchaser, the final episode before the knockout tournament begins. And we will begin today's show with the GAW Classic Champion, Aleister Black. He will be main eventing Nitro, but he's making a stop off here in Atlanta, Georgia, at the former home of the WCW Power Plant to announce the men's field of 16 for the Stormchaser knockout rounds. How amazing is it that we have a former world champion, a GAW Classic champion, one of the greatest in the world, here in the GAW Academy? Could you have even imagined it just a couple weeks ago? I know I couldn't. Well, let's listen to Aleister Black as he announces our field of 16. I know you're probably used to seeing me in a dark room, but I take a lot of pride in being able to come out here, talk to the fans, go in the locker room, talk to everyone here in the Academy. It's been said before, but I will be the next person to say it. Thank you so much for having me. It is an absolute privilege to see what is happening here in the Academy, to see the great stars coming up, the next up-and-comers. It is an absolute privilege. And there's one man that's impressed me above everyone else. We've seen 24 competitors in this tournament. I'm about to name to you the 16 men, but one man stands out, and that's Eddie Hernandez. Eddie, I'll talk to you from somebody who has been through my own trials and tribulations on the main roster, and sometimes I didn't know exactly where my career was going to end. I didn't know where my decisions would take me. And by contrast, I see you, and I think that you know where all of your decisions will lead. I think that you are cognizant. I think that you are incredibly intelligent, and on top of that, you are a world-class competitor. And I think that there is nobody better suited to raising the stature of the GAW Academy than you. Everything you've done has helped the next generation. The next generation will be the current generation sooner than you think. And they need someone like you to help them understand just how close they are. I want to say thank you from myself and everybody on the GAW main roster. Now, folks, it's time to talk about the knockout tournament. I'm going to begin with the left side of the bracket here because that's where Eddie Hernandez will be. Hernandez is the number 1 seed, and he will be taking on Tonga. I've seen Tonga in the back. That man, they say he's 400 pounds. He looks about 600 to me. We'll see if Hernandez can deal with it. The winner of that will be facing the winner of the former champion, Scott Danielson, and Stafford Drummond. I didn't want to get close to him in the back. I've never seen a guy who wants to be here less than Stafford Drummond. On the other side, the number 4 seed is the current champion, Garrett Gibson. Garrett, I hope you can hold on to that belt for a long time, my friend. And Garrett Gibson will be fighting Jackal. Jackal, if I could just say something to you, man to man, you got to do what's right. You have to make up with your mentor. That's the right thing to do. And finally, number 7, Lancelot. This is a guy I would want no part of, and I don't think anyone in the Academy does either. He'll be fighting Mexican Shia. Let's move on to the right side of the bracket now, beginning with Oliver Parker. Oliver, we are so happy to have you here. It is a privilege to have the first ever American Trueborn. And thank you so much for continuing to work hard. And you'll have to be facing the number 15 seed, Lee Carr. They call him the Firework with good reason. Number 6, this is a matchup that is absolutely enticing for a number of reasons. Andrew Wesley and Flyboy, number 6 versus number 11. You're talking about a potential Parker versus Wesley quarterfinal. Sign me up. On the other side, Kurt Andrews, Buccaneer. I think I've maybe seen Kurt Andrews hanging around the GAW locker room before. I'm not sure if that was him. But this is the time to prove to everyone just how great you are. I know that he'll be fighting Garrett Gibson for the Academy Championship soon. He's got to take on probably the biggest man in the Academy right now in Overload. And our final matchup is going to be Ulysses Sky against Lighter. Folks, I want to say thank you so much once again for having me out here. And good luck to everybody in the Stormchaser Knockout Tournament. From myself and everyone on the main roster, we will be watching very, very intently. I want to say first and foremost, thank you to Alistair Black for coming down here to Atlanta in the middle of a very busy training schedule. If you missed the last episode of GAW Wednesday Night Storm, go back and watch it. It features what I think is a great look, a great insight into Alistair Black's mental state and what he's been through and where he is now. Black, of course, will be main eventing Nitro as he fights Kenny Omega for the GAW World Championship. Now, we welcome out Lancelot, probably I would say, the hottest competitor in the Stormchaser tournament. We've been calling Caitlin Dunlap the hottest young rookie because she will become the first rookie ever to fight at Nitro for a championship. But Lancelot, in terms of the Stormchaser tournament, he debuted. He is 5-0 since that time. But today, he will get a match that is long past due, as he will fight the man who he attacked in his first night with the company. A man whose spot he took to get into the Stormchaser tournament. And now, finally, the Mexican legend, La Tortuga Roja, will have his chance for a little revenge. I don't know if it should be surprising to me. I don't know if it's surprising to any of you, but Jackal is not here with La Tortuga Roja. We can take a look back at the tensions that continue to build between the two men, and in a lot of ways they came to a head in Jackal's final match of the Stormchaser group stages. Jackal ended up losing that match, and that sends him on a 6-match winless streak here. So that has been a real issue between Jackal and La Tortuga Roja. The tension has been mounting, and now Roja will have to step into the ring with Lancelot, one of the most dangerous competitors that there is. Let's see if Roja can measure up. If you don't remember back to Lancelot's debut in the GAW Academy, it came after he attacked La Tortuga Roja backstage, and Roja came out, and on the same night that he was supposed to battle his student Jackal, he announced that he would be pulling out of the tournament, and Lancelot came in and filled his place. Roja, now from the top, looking for a big elbow to the top of the head. Lancelot was on the apron. Well done. And now Roja once again ascending to the top rope. Ladies and gentlemen, La Tortuga Roja's in his late 40s, going for the crossbody. Wow, unbelievable. La Tortuga Roja is synonymous with Mexican wrestling. I can say that right now. 3-time CMLL World Champion, 2-time AAA Mega Campeon, 4-time NWA Mexico champion. He was the last champion of NWA Mexico. So there was a time in La Tortuga Roja's career when he was widely considered maybe the best Mexican wrestler on the face of the earth. And he's still able to deliver something, but Lancelot shuts it all down. Lancelot delivers the Grand Chariot, but La Tortuga Roja kicks out. Lancelot tried to put him away, but really this match, this is all Lancelot right now. And now coming out of the corner, RTD. Goodbye and good night to La Tortuga Roja. Lancelot wins the battle. The battle that should have happened several weeks ago. But Lancelot proves that even though he got the jump on Roja the first time, he is the better competitor. Obviously age plays a factor, but well, now Lancelot's got himself a microphone. Daniel Johnson, Lancelot. I went by many other names in the last 23 years. Yes, I said 23. I'm 35 and I've been wrestling since I was literally still in diapers. From WWE, Ring of Honor, New Japan, TNA, PWG, WNE, RPW, so many others, including my own LCW, RBPW, KWA. I've been wrestling with the best of the best and the worst of the worst, and almost everything in between. I've held gold almost everywhere, but over the last weeks, the last months, I've been sensing something, feeling a change in the air as I get closer and closer to my physical prime. So I packed up and left most of the leagues I was in, all these promotions that loved having me in their ranks. I didn't even compete in KWA, and I own the damn thing. I left all that to come here, to come to the Academy, to wrestle the very fucking best, the salt of the fucking earth, moon, and stars. And now that I'm here, and I see that locker room full of faces I don't know, some I do, people that I've heard of, some that I haven't, I can finally say, none of you are on my fucking level. Well, look, maybe not none. There's some guys in here that I respect 100,000%, but these are people I either trained or have had barn burners with. I became personal friends with. Some of these guys are my family. Maybe I could stop being so rude, because the Academy is overflowing with talent. You guys and gals are great, but it's time for the big boys and girls to come and play. No disrespect to my friends and family, but I will become the champion once again in a promotion that just added me to their history books, and there's nothing any one of you can do about that. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, my name is Lancelot. This is Stormchaser. This is my house. Let the Blitzkrieg begin! I'm going to tell you now, because our brain-dead commentator will obviously forget. In the main event tonight, I will be facing Yamamoto, no disqualifications. And let me tell you why I needed this match to happen. Outside of any kind of tournament or anything like that, any kind of number one contendership match. I need this match to happen because Yamamoto, for the face that she puts on publicly, to tell everyone that she is actually really humble, and she doesn't like all of the plaudits. She doesn't like all the people talking about her. That's a bald-faced lie, and anyone who's been back in this locker room with her knows that's true. She loves the attention. She loves to have the spotlight on her. And she loves it when she can tell everyone that she's actually a really humble girl from Japan who's just trying to make her name in this sport. No. Look, I'll tell you, I love having the spotlight. I love being the center of attention. I love being the one that everyone talks about, and I should be. Do you know who I've beaten in the cage, in the octagon? Do you know the names that I've taken down? They call me the Legend Killer for a reason. And I admit, I'll say openly, I love it when people talk about me. And Yamamoto lies and says she doesn't. The arrogance. And the absolute gall of everyone to treat her as if she's the next great thing. When every woman in this academy is as good as Yamamoto, has exactly the exact same amount of potential as Yamamoto. It's more spin. And tonight, I'm going to knock Yamamoto's head straight into the dirt. And then I'm going to pick it up and I'm going to show her the lights, and I'm going to say that the more that she reaches to get to the levels that I've already been, the further down I'm going to bury her. I've heard a lot of kind words from everybody, whether it's in the Academy or on the GAW main roster, and while I appreciate each and every one of them, I also am a straight shooter and I never want to lie to you, and I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't care what anyone says about this place. I never have, and I never will. You can say everything you want about me, but everything that makes this place special, everything that we've done to make this place great, it speaks for itself. And I don't need the words, kind or otherwise, of anyone else, and certainly not anyone from the GAW main roster. But I do, main roster, quote unquote. But I do want to say this. We at the Academy take our positions very, very seriously, and that means that we have a showcase coming up on the last episode of Wednesday Night Storm before Nitro. And now traditionally that showcase is reserved for people who have excelled in the Academy, but this time we want to do something different. I speak for everyone in the Academy when we say we take pride not only in ourselves, but also in our up-and-coming talent. And in the showcase, two of the best are going to fight in that coveted spot. Lars Nightfall, a man that you've already met, that I introduced you to, and a man I am so happy to have here. And Frankie Omega, a man you've seen before, a man with an incredible history. They will fight at that showcase. And tonight, we'll see them team up together. This is going to be the future of GAW, not just of the Academy, but of general admission wrestling. I can promise you that. And as for me, I get the privilege of fighting at Nitro. I take that very seriously as well. And I hope Oliver Parker does too, because we're going to give the fans a show. Believe that. Listen to the silence of the crowd before they saw Frankie Omega coming out. Folks, this is just one of the many signings that we have made here in the GAW Academy, even since the Stormchaser tournament began. There's no doubt that the entire Academy, led by Eddie Hernandez, has continued to make its mark on the world. And Hernandez said it absolutely perfectly when he says that these two men that we are about to see, Frankie Omega being one of them, are just the first steps in the eventual tsunami of change that is coming to the GAW Academy and to general admission wrestling in general. Pardon the pun. Frankie Omega, this will be the first time that you've seen him in the ring, but I gotta tell you, this is an electrifying man and one of the more dangerous new signings that we have here. Here's a guy that you've already seen before if you've been watching Stormchaser for the last couple weeks. Lars Nightfall, brought in by Eddie Hernandez to protect the homestead. And Hernandez has actually asked Nightfall to stay away from his matches just to avoid the potential appearance of impropriety as Hernandez has ran through the Stormchaser tournament. But now Nightfall, having been in the gym for the last few weeks, if anything, he's gotten bigger. I didn't think that was possible. But when you look at this man, this is an absolute towering force. And now we will get to see him in the ring for the first time. And just like Frankie Omega, this is a guy, whenever he's in there, it is must-see TV. Omega and Nightfall will be opponents at the GAW Academy Showcase, the final one before Nitro. And by the way, that all Academy Showcases are big deals for whoever is in them, to be sure. But the one before Nitro, it feels special. It always has. And it's a special feather in the cap of whoever wins that match. I think Eddie Hernandez realizes that. But even though there'll be opponents on the next episode of GAW Wednesday Night Storm, tonight they are teaming up. And that means that they will have to face a team led by Lighter. Maybe, I don't want to say, I need to stop qualifying here. Lighter is the greatest tag team wrestler that we have ever seen here in the GAW Academy. Whoever he teams with, he will be a force here against Nightfall and Omega. But let's see who it is that he does team with.
Feed me more. Feed me more. Feed me more. Feed me more.
No way! This, folks, this is Dagonite. This is Dagonite, and let me tell you something about this man. At just 19 years old, he will now join Yamamoto as the only teenagers in the GAW Academy. But just like Yamamoto, he right now could be considered a force of wrestling, let alone what he could do in the next 5, 10, 15 years as he hits his prime. There is so much to talk about Dagonite here, and I'm very, very glad that we're going to get to see him on a night apparently full of debuts. Dagonite has been in the GAW Academy training, actually rehabbing a shoulder injury over the last 4 or 5 months. So he has just been waiting for his time and to team with the greatest tag team wrestler in the history of this academy. This is the time, kid. This is your time. 3 debutantes going at it in this match. Let's get to it. Omega and Lighter start things off. Omega immediately tries to go for a knee, and Lighter catches him with a massive spine buster. Nothing can make up for experience, and Lighter immediately trying to go for that big boot, the Godslayer. Omega sidesteps it very smartly. Front chancery by Lighter. Omega with a boot to the gut. And now Frankie Omega with a beautifully done suplex into a backbreaker. Absolutely brutal. Omega comes in with 2 absolutely devastating moves, both of which you need to look out for. He brings in his variation of a burning hammer that he calls Omega Theory, and then a modified Fujiwara armbar, both of which he uses consistently to finish matches. Godslayer attempt again from Lighter, sidestepped for a second time by Omega. Lighter now dumps him into the corner, but Omega able to get his boot up. Just think about Dagonite, the privilege that he has right now, getting to team with Lighter. Omega with the arm trap. Lighter answers with a giant forearm, and now Omega sends him into the corner. And now we will see Lars Nightfall for the first time. Look at the size of Lars Nightfall. Running knee, Omega sliding arm, and Nightfall with an elbow drop. And Omega with one from the top. These two guys are actually no stranger to teaming with each other. They have done so in the past. They've both been a part of many promotions, and they have teamed together on many occasions. Nightfall with this attempted choke bomb. He calls it the Nightmare. Lighter able to get out of it, and Lighter now has him up in the power bomb. Lighter drops him with the call from Olympus. Omega had distracted the referee. Lighter goes for the cover, and Nightfall able to kick out. Look at the size of this man. Dagonite as well, but Lighter, so much strength. We talk about it every time. It's a former Mr. Universe that you're seeing right here. A deadlift military press, and he makes it look so easy. Lighter with a big lariat. Nightfall to his feet. Lighter ducks one, comes off, back body drop. Lighter calls for it again. Nightfall up and down with a spine buster. Wow, Lighter is white hot in this match. Again, there is no substitute for experience. And Lighter has the experience advantage over everyone in this match. That being said, Nightfall and Omega, they've been around for quite a while. Dagonite is the odd man out here at 19 years old. He's been in the business 6 months. Lighter powers down Lars Nightfall with a Godslayer. Frankie Omega is there. Dagonite into the ring for the first time. And you can see the size of Dagonite as well. Lighter is not a small man, by the way, and he is dwarfed by both Nightfall and Dagonite. Gator roll into a crossface now with Lighter. Again, using every advantage he has over the much bigger Lars Nightfall. A man with tremendous striking ability, and so that's a big reason why we're seeing a little bit more of a traditional amateur focus here from Lighter. He knows that he does not want to stand and bang with Lars Nightfall, and I don't blame him. And now Lighter will tag in Dagonite. Dagonite for the first time enters into the match. Dagonite, oh, he was going for his powerbomb finisher, the Giant Killer. But beautifully taken down with a face buster by Lars Nightfall, who now tags in Frankie Omega. Omega immediately going for the arm of Dagonite, and that is a smart play. You gotta ground the bigger man, and you gotta look for your advantage, and in Omega's case, that advantage is going to be the Fujiwara armbar. Brutally targeting that arm, and I can't blame him. Look at the size difference between these two. Lariat ducked, and a clothesline sends Dagonite over the top. And now Frankie Omega from the top rope jumps over Lars Nightfall with a fist drop. Wow, folks, you are looking at the future of GAW right now. Look at these three men. Aged 19 for Dagonite, 25 for Lars Nightfall, and 27 for Frankie Omega. This is the future of the GAW Academy, make no mistake. The future of GAW. Arm trap from Omega. Top wrist lock, but Dagonite. Massive strikes to the gut. How is Omega still standing after taking strikes like that? And again, a clothesline over the top from Omega sends Dagonite down, and now Omega up on the top rope. Again, looking for the knee drop. This time, Dagonite saw it coming. Well scouted by the 19-year-old. You ever seen a 19-year-old this big? I don't know where he's from, but I want to know what they feed them. This is unbelievable. Omega is able to ground him with a kick. Omega taking him over to the stairs and bashes his head into that steel stair. That's what you need to do, a man this large. You got to take what advantages you have. Omega back into the ring. You can see the quickness, but Dagonite now raining down shots. Into the corner goes Omega, and Dagonite comes in with a big corner splash. Dagonite, all beautifully done. Pump handle. Dagonite plants him with the Tower of God. Dagonite going for the cover, and Nightfall is there. Nightfall makes it in just in time, and he takes a gigantic uppercut to the jaw for his troubles. That was much needed. as Dagonite once again turns his attention to Omega. Dagonite has the pump handle in once again, trying to go it for a second time. Dagonite plants him down with the Tower of God, but the referee immediately calls for the rope break. That is the inexperience from the 19-year-old. That's exactly what you would expect from a man who spent only 6 months in the business. 4 of them have come here in the GAW Academy, rehabbing an injury. But now Frankie Omega again has the wrist lock. Omega just can't get any luck trying to lock in these big moves. Dagonite now sends him into the corner. And this is where you think Lighter could sense an issue. Dagonite at only 19 years old, he has almost no experience in tag wrestling. Lighter trying to lead him through as the more experienced man, but Dagonite is very much at risk of potentially getting trapped away from Lighter. That could be the reality that we're seeing right now as Dagonite is far, far away from his partner. Lars Nightfall comes up to the corner. Omega now. Omega, look at this. This is it. The bridging Fujiwara armbar. He calls it arm collector. Omega's wrenching back. Omega wrenching back with this armbar. Dagonite has had shoulder problems before. He's trying to get himself to the rope and is actually able to roll himself over. And that's just using his massive size to just shift his weight around. Omega was finally able to lock in the arm collector, and now Omega drops him back into a neck breaker, and Omega goes for the cover. Dagonite kicks out. Wow. Is there any better advertisement for what the future of GAW looks like? Eddie Hernandez promised it, and boy did he deliver. Dagonite was looking for a big overhand shot. Omega catches him, but an overhand chop. I can't even come up with the words to describe the pain that you would feel if a man as big as Dagonite chops you in the chest. Could you even imagine? Dagonite sends Omega back into the ring. We're almost halfway through. We are officially halfway through here. 20-minute time limit, 10 minutes remaining. Omega coming off the ropes with a big knee to the head of Dagonite. And Dagonite, oh, the back body drop. I mean, just mathematically, you're 8 feet in the air, and Dagonite finally able to get a tag in to the more experienced Lighter. Lighter now coming right after Frankie Omega. Remember, Lighter in the knockout stages of the Stormchaser tournament will be taking on Ulysses Sky. And that'll be I think, a tremendous match. Lighter now out of the corner with an overhead belly to belly. And now Omega's desperate for a tag. Lars Nightfall needs to come into this match, and soon. But Lighter knows it. Lighter. He's done this once already, and he did it to Lars Nightfall. This is like nothing in comparison. It's like lifting a cardboard box as he drops Frankie Omega with that military press. And now Lighter, I believe, looking for that power bomb, and now Omega traps him in the arm. Omega rolls over, bridges it. Arm collector again. Look at him wrenching back on that shoulder. Look at him wrenching back, and Lighter has no choice but to tap out. Frankie Omega has won the match, and he's done it by pinning the greatest tag wrestler in the GAW Academy. But ladies and gentlemen, all I can say is, if this is the future, well, how excited are you? Dagonite, Lars Nightfall, Frankie Omega. What a future it will be. This is what the GAW Academy is about. Let me tell you that right now. This is what it's all about. Lars Nightfall and Frankie Omega. They've teamed before. They will be opponents in the GAW Academy showcase before Nitro 10. But for right now, they can celebrate because they have announced themselves on the big stage. Folks, we've got Caitlin Dunlap, the hottest young rookie. She will also be fighting at Nitro 10 for the Women's World Championship in 2-match turmoil. She is backstage. So, as everyone knows, the top 2 in the standings are supposed to have a match at Nitro 10, and it's the first rookies in the GAW Academy currently to compete at Nitro, blah, blah, blah. I get it. But I'm not going to do it. Because competing in 2 matches on one night is reserved for women who don't go out there and give 100% every single time. Asuka. No, I have more important things to deal with at Nitro 10. Like winning the GAW Women's Championship. Which is exactly what I said I was going to do. And for some reason, no one believed me. I mean, I know the reason. It's because when you see someone who looks like me, who talks like me, who wrestles like me, who has everything that I do and that none of you could ever have, I get it. You just immediately believe that everything I'm saying is a lie. I mean, of course it's not, but that's what you all will believe. So it looks like GAW will have to find a replacement for me at Nitro because I have actual things to worry about. Well, this is a match that Katherine Sakamoto herself announced earlier on in the show and also took kind of a pot shot at me. I don't know exactly how I feel about that. Not that I would confront her. I mean, she could probably break my arm just by looking at me. But she has the unenviable task of going up against Yamamoto, who right now is actually on one of the drier patches of her career, if you could believe that. A couple losses in a row for the 19-year-old Phenom. She got a pep talk last episode from none other than Kazuchika Okada, so this is not a woman I would like to be going up against right now. Yamamoto was trained by the Rainmaker himself. Okada announced Yamamoto as the future of wrestling at just 19 years old. Yamamoto is still the youngest competitor in the GAW Academy. She edges out, I'm not even joking, she edges out Dagonite by 3 days as the youngest competitor here. Folks, our main event is no DQ action. It's no secret that Katherine and Yamamoto have had a lot of issues, and it all centers around really Katherine not appreciating the way that Yamamoto is treated, both by legends like Okada and even by people like me. And maybe that's why Katherine decided to take aim at me specifically. And you know what? I don't know if it's entirely fair. Her criticisms of Yamamoto and the way that we talk about her. I think a lot of it is very well earned. Folks, I gotta take you right now. Lighter is backstage. I will absolutely take responsibility for this loss. It was my fault. But I also want you to know, Dagonite was not paired with me randomly. I asked for him. Because of every 19-year-old I've ever seen, he is the most polished, he is the most ready to be a tag team champion that I have ever seen, and that's something I know a little bit about. Katherine bringing in a ladder here. That was very interesting, by the way, from Lighter. That was not a random team with him and Dagonite. That was a very specific partnership, and I'm very curious to see if that continues going forward. We'll have to see. Katherine's brought in a ladder here. Yamamoto hits her with the fireman's carry neck breaker. Well done. And Yamamoto with a discus lariat. God, it looks so brutal when she does it that way. And of course, if you've been watching Stormchaser for any amount of time, you know that Yamamoto's goal is to set up the Rainmaker just like her mentor. She does it about as well as Kazuchika Okada ever has. And now Yamamoto with a neck breaker, with an air raid crash neck breaker. Meanwhile, Katherine, the MMA legend killer, Yamamoto going for that elbow drop. One of the prettiest in the business, if you ask me. But Katherine had it well scouted. Maybe no one in the academy knows more about Yamamoto than Katherine. And no one would be more prepared to go up against Yamamoto than Katherine. Hoist Yamamoto up to the top rope now in the Tree of Woe, and Katherine grinds the boot straight to the face of the Stormbringer. Katherine with a thrust kick. Finds her mark on the jaw of the 19-year-old. Katherine, I can tell you right now what she's looking for. A diving double foot stomp that she calls stare at the lights. And that's exactly Katherine from the top. Stare at the lights. Katherine for all the bragging rights. Katherine hooks the leg. No! You're going to need more than that to put down the young phenom. But Katherine does have one more move in her arsenal. The devastating Legend Killer submission. Katherine with a couple big lariats. Yamamoto, I think, made contact with the ladder with her shoulder. Katherine takes her down. This is no disqualification. But, you know, so often, we've seen it actually many times here in GAW. So often when you talk about no disqualification. Oh, look at this. Tombstone pile driver from Yamamoto. Yamamoto hits her with the tombstone and now hooks the leg. Katherine kicks out. So often the no DQ bouts here are so much about bragging rights that even though the wrestlers are allowed to grab the weapons, they actually don't. Oh my God, Yamamoto's locked Katherine in her own submission. Yamamoto has locked Katherine into the Legend Killer. Yamamoto putting all the pressure she can and eventually releases the hold and now goes for the pin. Yamamoto doing the exact same thing Katherine did to her, and Yamamoto gets the win. Oh, this is unbelievable. Yamamoto gets the win with Katherine's own move, and Katherine was ready to throw hands. Oh my God! Oh my God, Katherine has just struck the referee. This is unbelievable, and what a way to end this show. Folks, oh my God, I can't put this together in my head. Just watch Nitro. That's all I'm saying. Watch Nitro. Thank you so much. Subscribe. We appreciate you.